Welcome to the Jewelry Business Academy podcast, Dr. Noah St. John. It is such an honor to have you joining me today, and I'm so excited for this conversation. I know you are known worldwide as the Zero Friction Doctor, and you've helped Hollywood celebrities, pro athletes, and 8 and 9-figure CEOs remove the invisible blocks keeping them from their next level. And so while I know a lot of your work is really rooted in high performance coaching, I am so excited to have you on the podcast today and to really bring this conversation into the jewelry world because so many founders listening are really navigating so many of the same internal friction loops.
Right.
So the self-doubt, the resistance, the I know what I need to do, but like I just can't seem to get doing it loop. And so I'm excited for us to dive into that together today. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. That's my pleasure.
So I thought we could just kick right off and dive into the deep end right away and talk about friction, because I see so many designers and so many business owners who know what they need to do. They know they need to show up on Instagram. They know they need to pitch to stores for wholesale. And I say this all the time. When you break down the steps of building a business like a jewelry business, it's really just an accumulation of thousands and thousands of teeny tiny, very doable steps. Like an 8-year-old could do them. But we have these blocks that are like, oh, but who am I to do this? Who am I to take up space? Who am I to increase my prices? Who am I to reach out to these stores after they've said no multiple times? And so there's this invisible drag that keeps us circling instead of moving forward. And it's that feeling that we then get of, I'm doing everything, I'm showing up, but like I'm not gaining traction, like nothing's really happening. And so I know we talked about this earlier. You call yourself the Zero Friction Doctor. And so I'm curious, when you look at entrepreneurs, what kinds of friction do you see most often, and how do we start clearing that?
Absolutely. So for everyone listening to this program, I want you to think about your business in a slightly different way than perhaps you might have looked at it in the past. So when you look at your goals, okay, you have everybody listening to this program has goals, right? Now, for example, let's say you've been in the jewelry business for a while and you want to grow your business. You want to make more money. No kidding, right? Everybody does, right? So maybe you want to go from, let's say you're making 10K a month right now and you want to get to 100K a month. All right. So that's a great goal, a very common goal for business owners, for entrepreneurs. That's one goal. Now, for some of you listening, it might be, well, I'm in my 9 to 5 right now, but you know what? I want to transition out of that. Maybe I've been in the corporate world for a while and it's not what I really want to do. What I really want to do is, have this business. And maybe that's your goal. Leave my 9 to 5 and start my own business. So that's a goal, right? So whatever your goals are, that's what you need to focus on. All right. So now we've heard everybody say a billion times, you got to set your goals, right? We've heard that a million times. So why is it that so many people all around the world are setting goals, doing everything they've been told, but they're not reaching those goals? Well, that's where I come in. And that's what I have been teaching my clients for over 30 years now. And as a result of my coaching and my books and my seminars, we've helped our clients add over $3 billion as a result of following my frameworks, literally installing these frameworks, these habits, and these systems. So think about your goals. All right. That's where everything starts. So when I talk to my clients, whether it's with one-on-one coaching or group coaching, we always start with your goals, right? Because what else is there, right? It's what you want. It's not what someone else wants. It's what you want. So we've got to get very clear on your goals. Now, you've heard that a million times, but here's what you haven't heard. And this is what most people don't realize, is that every business problem you're facing right now is a friction problem. And that's why you need a zero friction solution. Now, let me show you exactly what I mean by that. So let's go back to your goals. Let's just say the goal is to get from 10K to 100K a month. Common goal among entrepreneurs. So your goal is a destination. It's somewhere you want to go, right? Because right now you're here and you want to go there, right? You're at point A, you want to go to point B. All right. So imagine your goal as a destination, because that's what it actually is. So picture it like you're in your car and you're going from your home to the grocery store to pick up some milk and eggs. All right. So the destination is the grocery store. That's your destination. And why you're going there is you want to pick up milk and eggs, right? Because think about this for a second. Nobody gets in their car, drives to the grocery store, walks around the store for an hour, and then gets back in their car and comes home. That would be idiotic, right? That doesn't make any sense. Nobody would do that. You go to the store for a reason, right? To pick up milk and eggs. Just that little example, very simple. We've all done it a million times, but that's exactly what your goals are like. Your goals are a destination. But why are you going there? Why do you want to grow your business? Why do you want to leave the 9 to 5 and start your own business? It's very, very crucial and critical that you get very clear on why you want to do this in the first place. Because a lot of people say, I want to make more money. And I say, okay, here's $5, go away. No, you got to get a lot clearer than that. All right, so that's point number one. But point number two, which is even more important, is that imagine you're in your car, right? So here you are, you're in your car and you're driving to that destination. But unbeknownst to you, you have developed the unconscious habit of driving with one foot on the brake. So in your car, there are two forces at work: the driving force of your foot on the gas and the restraining force of your foot on the brake. Well, what is the brake? It's friction, right? That's what causes your car to slow down and stop. It's friction. And guess what? If your brakes don't work, that's a problem too. But what I have noticed after coaching over 16,000 entrepreneurs over the last 3 decades is that most people are driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake. So if you're driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake, how long do you think it's going to teach you? How long do you think it's going to take you to reach your goals? Exactly. A long, 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 long time. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the other problem. The other problem is most people listening to this program know that something's wrong. Like, but no, well, why aren't I reaching my goals? I mean, I know what my goals are. I've heard that a million times. I've set my goals. Why aren't I reaching them? And so when I talk about, oh, my foot's on the brake, and some people go, yeah, that actually makes sense. I never thought of it that way before. But here's what gets even trickier, because most people are aware they have a problem. I'm not reaching my goal, right? That's the problem. But see, that's not actually the problem. That's a symptom. That's a symptom. That's not the problem. So it's a symptom. So guess what most people do? They say, I'm not reaching my goals and I want to reach my goals. So you know what? Let me go on social media and just see who's talking about goals. Well, there's 10 billion people talking about goals. I mean, everybody talks about it, right? So what they do is they say, well, let's see. Guru number one says, you know what? If you're not reaching your goals, what you need to do is put a better type of gas in your car. That's going to solve your problem. All you need is a better type of gas. And you got to use the most expensive gas, by the way. It's really expensive. So put the high octane gas in your car. So you're like, well, all right. Well, he's successful or she's successful, so I'll listen to them. You put high octane gas in your car, but you still have one foot on the brakes. You still get the same result. The second guru comes along and says, you know what? You need to get a new set of tires. Your tires aren't good enough. Right? You need to have the most expensive tires that you can find because, hey, it's obviously your tires that's the problem. That's why you're not reaching your goals. So you go to the tire store, you buy a new set of tires, spend more money, put the new tires on, but you're still doing the same habit. What do you get? The same result. Finally, the third guru comes along and says, you know what? You need a new car. That's not good enough. Your car isn't good enough. Why don't you buy a really expensive Italian sports car? Look at my sports car. Aren't I really cool? Vroom, vroom. I drive all around and don't I look great? And you're like, wow, geez, I really want to be like that guy. So oh my gosh. All right. So I go out, spend a lot of money, buy a new sports car, but you get back in your car and you still have the same habit. So you're getting the same result, except now your bank account is a lot lower. So here's what I do that's different. I come up to you and I say this, excuse me. Did you know you have your foot on the brake? And you're like, no. And I say, well, yeah, if you get your foot off the brake, you can actually reach your goals 10 times faster and easier without having to work so hard. You're like, really? Yeah. All you do is you follow the framework that I've taught to tens of thousands of people over the last 30 years, made $3 billion. So if it worked for them, why wouldn't it work for you? So just follow the framework. You're like, well, where do I sign? You see the difference? So the point is, all those gurus are telling you, buy new gas, get a new car, get new tires. Those are all wrong. They're symptoms. They don't even have anything to do with the real problem. The real problem is that you have developed the unconscious habit, just like millions of other people, of driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake. So what's the most important message here? Get your foot off the brake.
Oh, this is so powerful, Dr. Nora. And it's interesting because I see this play out all the time.
Right.
I think one of the first things you were talking about when you're saying we look at our goals is we look at our why for our goals. And it's
Mhm.
actually interesting because it's one of the first things we do in the Jewelry Business Academy
Yep.
with our clients as well. Is I'm like, I don't even want you to look at marketing or look at solving any problems. Like, let's identify your why and make sure you're
Right.
even building a business that is in alignment with that, because there's no
That's
point
right.
building this business, getting there and feeling empty and
That's
unfulfilled and
right.
wondering what happened, because I've seen that play out so
Sure.
many times as well.
That's right.
And so it's like getting clear on that why, and then actually getting clear on your goals, and then looking at those internal blocks. And I love the image of the foot on the brake, because I think that's such a great way for people to realize sometimes. I had a conversation with a business owner recently who was like, the reason I'm not where I want to be is because I have to throw money at ads, or because I have to like hire this one person, or I have to do XYZ. And I'm like,
Right.
is it really? Or like, is like, there's like something holding you back from actually showing up properly, but
That's
you're
right.
wanting to do all the productive work on one level, but it's not the vulnerable work. And I think this ties in so well to the vulnerable work that actually you
Mhm.
have to do to work through. There's no like sticking tape over and trying to fix this. You have to actually go deep within you and like work out what's going on here. So I'm curious,
Mhm.
what do you find is like one of the most common friction points for a lot of business owners?
Well, there are many, and your point is very well taken. And yes, I've seen this played out many, many times too. In fact, when you go to my website, when you go to noahsajohn.com, and if you click on the button that says one-on-one mentoring, you'll see the headline right there at the top of the page says, "I'm successful and unhappy. Please help." And that is actually an email that I got many years ago from one of my clients. I'm
Yeah.
successful and unhappy. Please help. And think about that. Think about how many times that, people reach their goals and are like, I thought this was supposed to solve all my problems, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm not saying not to reach your goals. Of course we want to, but that if you do that and you haven't done this inner work, as I call it, with your inner game, then yeah, many, many times it is going to be empty and very unfulfilling, and you'll sabotage it. So
Mm.
not great. So the point is that, you asked about what are common frictions. So there are many friction points. So, but let me actually paint you an even deeper picture, all right? Because I talked about driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake. Now, some people will listen to that and they go, wow, I really am driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake. In fact, I've had many people say, no, I got the emergency brake on too, So it's like, yeah, I know. But here's what's so weird about that is that nobody means to do this. It's clearly not a thing you want to do. I mean, nobody wakes up in the morning and says, this looks like a great day today. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. You know what? I think I'll hold myself back from success today,
Mm.
right? I mean, of course, nobody would ever say that. That would be insane. But why? So here's what's really, really happening. I'm going to go even deeper for you, which is that what we're dealing with is the iceberg principle of human behavior. All right. So the iceberg principle states that just like an iceberg, right? Only about 5% of our thoughts, behaviors, and actions as humans are on the conscious level. That means above the surface. That means like right now, you can think what you're thinking about. You know what you're thinking about. It's a conscious thought. I'm thinking about this. I'm listening to this program. I'm thinking about what I want for lunch or what I had for dinner last night. So you're thinking about what you're thinking about. So you're aware of that. That's the 5% above the surface, conscious mind. However, the vast 95% of the iceberg is below the surface. That is the subconscious. Okay. So just let me put it to you very, very simply for everyone listening. Just get this picture in your head. Imagine you were going into battle and you had 5 guys fighting 95 guys. Who do you think is going to win that battle? Right?
Yeah.
The
That's such a
95.
great that is such a great image actually, because like I've had we speak about this all the time, the subconscious, but when
Mm-hmm.
you actually see it as those 5 verse 95, you realize how
Mm-hmm.
much of a battle we're actually fighting
That's
there,
right.
trying to rewrite that subconscious
And
essentially.
and that's why willpower doesn't work. See,
Mm,
willpower is your conscious mind, the 5 guys, trying to fight the 95 guys. Good luck. That's why
mm,
willpower doesn't work. That's, as an example, why New Year's resolutions don't work. How many times have everyone listening, how many times have you set New Year's resolutions? right? We've all probably done it. Oh, this year I'm going to get organized. This year I'm going to lose weight. This year I'm going to not, spend so much money. This year I'm going to whatever. I'm going to clean my room. So as an example, on January 2nd, the gyms are full, and by
Yeah.
January 30th, they're empty again,
Yeah.
right? Why do you think we see all the, weight loss and, fitness things, in January? New year, new you. Like, it doesn't mean anything because you haven't gone and done the inner work. You haven't done it. So the point is that, like I said a moment ago, nobody wants to hold themselves back. Nobody is on purpose driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake, but it doesn't matter. That's why with my work, what we do is we go into the subconscious and we actually bring it to the conscious mind so that then we can make a conscious decision. Let me give you a perfect example of this. I was talking with one of my clients. His name's Charles, and he had been reading my books. He'd been watching my videos on YouTube. So he understood what makes me different, like what makes me not the same as all those guys out there teaching all this surface stuff. And he was ready to do that work. And so he contacted me on my website and, we were talking. So I asked him a question that I ask all of my clients, whether one-on-one or group coaching. And I said, Charles, how much do you think it's going to cost you if we don't take out your head trash, as I call it, right? If we don't get your foot off the brake, in other words, if we don't get your foot off the brake, if you don't install these habits that I talk about, and how much do you think it's going to cost you just in the next 12 months? Now, without batting an eye, he said $1 million. He literally said $1 million. No, it's definitely going to cost me $1 million if I don't do these things you're talking about. I said, first of all, Charles, it's very common. Right? I talk to people every day that say, Noah, this is costing me $500,000, $2 million a year and more. And that's just 1 year. Remember, this compounds year over year. It's not a one and done. It's like it gets worse unless you fix it. So that's point number one. And so I said, point number two, I said, Charles, I tell you what, why don't you just give me 10% of that million? In other words, and I will find you $1 million in the next 12 months. Just give me 10%, I'll find you $1 million. In other words, if you give me $1 and I give you $10 back, is that a good deal? He goes, well, yeah, that's a good deal. So he said, let's do it. So he literally hired me on the spot. That's why I love working with high achievers, right? Because they make decisions quickly and firmly. He didn't dilly-dally. Oh, I got to think about it. Let me talk to my spouse, or I'm not sure. Oh, I got to wait for the right time. None of those excuses. He said, let's do it. So he literally invested $100K to get one-on-one coaching with me. That's 10% of $1 million, right? Mm-hmm. So I coached him one-on-one for a year. Now, as it turns out, I didn't find him $1 million in the next 12 months. Instead, I found him 1.8 million in just 10 months. Oh so he gave me $1 and I gave him $18 back. Is that a good deal? No, that's a great deal. And actually, he sent me an email. He said, hey, Noah, guess where I am? I'm on a 7-week vacation with my wife. He said, this is a dream I've had for the last 20 years, but I never had the time or the money. He said, now, because of coaching with you, now I have the money, right? So I bought a new RV, but more importantly, I have the time. I'm taking 7 weeks off and I'm making more than ever before. He literally said, thank you, Noah, for changing my life. So the point of the story is, imagine how much your head trash is costing you right now. If you have your foot on the brake, what are you losing out on? And the sad part about this is it's invisible. You're losing out and you don't even realize it because you're like, well, it's just the way it is. No, that's not the way it is. That's what you've been trained to believe. And that's what you've trained yourself to believe. But no, you don't have to take this anymore. And that's why it's so crucial and critical that we get your foot off the brake no matter what.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's interesting because we run retreats. We ran one recently in Kelowna for jewelry business owners, and the work that we do at those retreats is very much aligned with what you're talking about, Dr. Noah, where we're diving into the subconscious and we're looking at the limiting beliefs and the stories that you don't even know have been holding you back all this time. And it's really interesting what comes up and the shift that happens when you go through and actually do the work. And it's very vulnerable. It's very uncomfortable. It's not like the fun side of business. I find it fun, but a lot of people are like, no, like this is the last thing I want to be doing.
Yeah.
But it's like those limiting beliefs and that subconscious story that you have where it's like the fear of success. Like so many people are doing the work, but they have the fear of success because like, what if I out earn my parents? Like, how's that fair when I'm working less than them? What if, I make more than I make at my current job and I have to make the decision to actually go full time or not? Like, what if I'm in that position? Or, what if I out earn my spouse? Because we have a lot of clients that out earn their husbands. And then it's that conversation of like, oh, like, what do we do now? Like, you've always been the
Mhm.
breadwinner. Now I'm making more money. Are you going to quit your job and join me? Like, it's
Mhm.
very uncomfortable. And so often they don't even
Mhm.
realize that these little things could potentially be holding them back. So it's so fascinating. And I love the term head trash. I
Yeah.
think it's brilliant. I think it's
Thank you.
something that all entrepreneurs can resonate with.
Mhm.
And it's those internal scripts that we have going on saying like, who am I to charge that amount? Who am I to even sell my jewelry? Like, there's so many other businesses out
Yes.
there, or everyone's already doing this. So talk to us about, like, for someone listening who's like, oh my gosh, yeah, maybe I have some head trash. How do I even identify like what my head trash is?
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. I'm so glad you brought this up. And by the way, we do want to share with your listeners, everyone watching, about where they can get my book on how to take out your head trash for free. Okay, so we want to give that out also as a link. But so think about your goals. All right, so for everyone listening, go back to your goals. All right, so think about what it is that you want. I want to go from 10K to 100K. I want to leave my job and make money in my jewelry business, whatever your goals are. And by the way, this isn't just about money, right? It can also be health goals. I want to lose weight. Could be relationship goals. I want to find that special person, whatever it is. I mean, I've helped people, find the love of their lives, make more money, lose weight, overcome addiction, quit smoking, quit drinking. I mean, just lots and lots of things. So believe me, this affects everything, not only money. Money is easy to measure, right? Here, before Noah, I was making this and now I'm making that. It's pretty awesome. So it's like a great before and after, 200%, 300%, 800%, 1,500% growth. We have tons of case studies like that. So think about those goals. All right. So go back to your goal. So again, using a simple one, I want to go from 10K to 100K a month, right? Simple goal. All right. So then I want you to write down, and everybody can do this right now. Write down why you can't do it. Now, notice what I just said. See, what every other guru says is get psyched, get motivated. You can do it and psych yourself up. Come on, focus and put a vision board up there and use affirmations. Okay, I'm not saying all that stuff doesn't work. I'm just saying you've already done that. So why aren't you there yet? You see, you've already done all that stuff. It's not that it's wrong. It's just, again, we're up here at the surface level, right? That 5%, we've completely missed the 95%. So what I'm telling you is to do the opposite. I want you to tell yourself, write down all the things you're telling yourself of why you can't do it. Well, Noah, I want to go from 10K to 100K a month, but I don't have the time. I can't, I'm too busy. I'm already working all these hours. If I'm making 10 times more, I got to work 10 times longer and work 10 times harder. I can't do that. Really?
Yeah, I see
Okay.
that all the time.
Right. Of
The
course you do.
fear
All
of
right.
scaling, where it's like, I'm doing so well, I'm successful, I can't possibly do more because then I won't have a life. And it's
Right.
that misconception that you
Right.
actually get more of a life the more
If
you
you put
get
these
yourself
systems
scale.
in place. If you do it wrong, you're going to make a
Yeah.
lot of, yeah, then you won't see your kids and, you won't go to the ballet recitals and soccer games. You're right. So that is a huge fear of I can't do it because. So write down all those I can't do it because guess what? That's your head trash, right? So now Henry Ford was famously quoted as saying, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. Now, with all due respect to Mr. Ford, I have updated that phrase. So here's how I say it for our modern world. And what I've been teaching my clients for 30 years is that whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you make yourself right. You actually make yourself right. So let's say,
Yeah.
using an example, right? Oh, I want to grow my business, but I don't have the money. I can't afford it. Really? Meanwhile, I can come into your business. I can just, have a 30-minute conversation with you and I can see where you're wasting tons of money right now, where money's just going out the window and you're like, what? I didn't even see that. No kidding. Right? So people are always spending money on things that they deem important. Now, I'm not suggesting that, you stop having fun or you stop doing things that you enjoy. That's the exact opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying that right now I can find you an extra $3,000 to $10,000 a month without breaking a sweat. All right. So that's, the money part. Then there's time. Oh, no, I don't have the time. Really? I can find you 1 to 3 hours a day that you're wasting right now. Like Charles, that example I just talked to you about, 7 weeks off, making 10 times more. Was that an accident? No, it was putting these systems in place. So do you see what I mean? All of those reasons you have of why I can't do it is exactly why you're making yourself right. And this is one area where you don't want to be right.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Dr. Noah. It's interesting how when we make a decision, like we have a whole training when clients come into the program before they even actually dive into anything. We work on mindset because I'm like, if you're coming into this program to prove it doesn't work, we have to fix that right now because you
Right.
will prove it
That's
doesn't
right.
work.
That's
You know,
right.
if you decide you don't have time, you're going to find all the evidence. Like you will find evidence that you are right and you don't have time for this.
Mhm.
If you tell yourself you don't have money to build this business or hire this team member, whatever, you will find actual evidence. And then you'll be like, well, this is solid evidence. Like, I was right. Or, that I can't build this business because it's too saturated. You will find all the evidence you need.
That's
And
right.
so, actually, like recognizing that and rewriting that and being like, no, we're going to prove that we not some special like unicorn that like is so different from everyone else who's made it, that we can actually go out there and like let's stack evidence that we do have enough time. I have a client who's a mom. I have a lot of moms actually, but one
Hmm.
of them works in 3 to 7 minutes pockets of time a day, and she has a
Right.
team now. She is like driving sales while she's on flights and stuff, and this
Nice.
is someone with tiny pockets of time throughout her
Right.
day where so many other people with even more time would say, I don't have time.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so it's interesting how powerful our mindset is. And I think so many of us underestimate the impact of that on our businesses.
It's so true. I'll give you another great example. I'm sure everybody listening knows who John Grisham is, the author, John Grisham, right? We all
Mm-hmm.
know who he is. Very famous author, sold 10 trillion copies. But there was a time, of course, where nobody knew who John Grisham was. And he was not a famous author. In fact, he'd never written a book. So he was a law clerk in Mississippi. He started out as a law clerk, and he had a young family. He had a wife and two kids, and he was working as a law clerk. And he found that he was miserable. He's like, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. But I got this family. What am I supposed to do? I can't quit my job, right? So how many people are in a situation like that right now, right? Oh, I'm making money, I'm supporting my family, but oh man, I really don't. I want to do something else, but oh, I don't have the time. Great excuse, right? And you make it true. So what did John Grisham do? He realized that, wait a minute, he of course wanted to be a novelist, wanted to be an author. So he's like, well, what am I going to do? I can't quit my job. What do I do? Well, he found a way, right? Because that desire in him was strong enough. That desire was like that foot on the gas that I talk about. He's like, I really, really want this, and I don't want to be a law clerk the rest of my life. So what did he do? He said, and this, he's talked about this in many interviews. He would put the kids to bed, and it was 8 o'clock. And then he would go into his laundry room. They had a little laundry room. He'd set up an ironing board and he would pound out his first book on a typewriter in the laundry room.
Oh my
And
goodness.
that book became A Time to Kill, which then, of course, went on to become a movie and millions of copies later. So, what's the moral of the story? What does this mean for you, for everyone listening? What excuse do you have? Right? Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
can't do it because. Really? Really? Remind yourself of that John Grisham story. True story. So there's, of course, many stories like that. But that's just a great story because everybody knows who John Grisham is and everybody can relate to, oh, shoot, I don't have the time. Lie. That's a lie. That's a lie you're telling yourself that you're allowing yourself to believe. So don't
Yeah.
believe that lie so you can reach your goals. That's just one simple example that, frankly, anybody could use today.
Oh yeah, I love that example so much, and I think we have so many people in different life situations. We have actually a lot of people with chronic illnesses who do
Mm-hmm.
listen to this as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's interesting because I have a lot of clients with chronic illnesses who are in and out of hospital like 20, 30 times a year,
Mm-hmm.
or some of them even more,
Mm-hmm.
and one of those clients, she's been on the podcast to share her story, but she had smaller pockets of time and smaller pockets of energy, and every
Mm-hmm.
excuse why this would never work for her, like legitimate reasons why, health wise, energy wise, money wise,
Yeah.
experience wise, this would never work. And she now has a multiple six-figure jewelry business. Her
Nice.
husband's joining her. She has a team. She's like makes
Nice.
money when she has days in bed and days in hospital, and she's still generating revenue. And
Mm.
it's so interesting, like you either decide you're going to make this happen or you don't. And
Yep.
everyone has different reasons why. We can all find an abundance number of excuses why now's not the time, or I can't make this work. But I love that story, Dr. Noah. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing you talked about earlier, which I love, is when you were talking about willpower. And
Mhm.
I know there's this like misconception, I think, with some people where they just like, oh, that person just has more willpower than me. They just more motivated, all of this. And I think we all kind of have the same amounts of willpower. And it really comes down to what you've been talking about, the systems and habits that we
Mhm.
implement. And the wins that I see with my clients aren't coming necessarily from these huge leaps. It's from consistent actions
Mhm.
and the right systems that have been implemented over time.
Mhm.
And the example I always use is if you want to run a marathon, it's like you want to run a marathon and you every day
Mhm.
you just have junk food in your fridge and you have to make food and your friends wanting to go to bars and clubs
Mhm.
and drink.
Yep.
Well, it's going to be very, very hard for you to even get out the door and go for a walk every day. And then you don't
Yep.
have the running shoes and your house is a hot mess and you can't find your workout clothes. It feels really hard. You need a lot of willpower to even get out the door.
Hmm.
Whereas if you have a running buddy and you get meal prep and you have a nutritionist help make sure all your meals are optimized for energy, you wake up with energy, your workout clothes are laid out, you have the right shoes for running, you have someone who's going to show up at your door at the same time as you, and you're going out and you're starting and you have a program and you have a plan. It takes less energy to do. So it's all about setting up your business in a way that you have the right systems and habits in place. So talk
Right.
to us a little bit about this, because you have studied in so much depth the habits of high performers for
Yep.
decades.
Yes.
What are the key habits that actually move the needle, and how can creative entrepreneurs and jewelry business owners kind of make them stick when life is already full?
Yeah. I love that you brought this up. It's so important because this is absolutely something that I help my clients with all the time, whether it's one-on-one or group coaching. By the way, with the group coaching, I just want to mention something. We do have a program called the 12-week breakthrough because I am known for helping people make more in 12 weeks than they did in the previous 12 months while winning their lives back, meaning literally winning back 1 to 3 hours per day and 4 to 8 weeks in your year. So think about that. You're making more and working less. It sounds like mumbo jumbo. It sounds like hype, but go to the website and you'll see literally hundreds of success studies, success stories, and case studies of my clients who it's worked for. So this is one of the things that I help my clients with. I've helped them with for a long, long time. So think about that most like damaging habit that you have. All right. For everyone listening, think about that. Now, it could be anything, but the number one habit that people say to me that they need help with and want help with is procrastination, right? If you think about different habits, overeating, smoking, drinking, shopping, or whatever, those are not great habits, let's just say. But I think procrastination is really, the most costly if you think about it. It's the habit that's costing you the most. Because
Mm.
what is procrastination? Procrastination is putting off until tomorrow what you should have done 3 months ago,
And it's
So
draining as well. So
exactly. It's
draining.
energy draining, it's time draining. And see, we're all fighting time. We're all fighting time. And I don't mean to sound morbid, but that's the way it goes, right? In the game of life, Father Time is undefeated. He's undefeated, and that's the way it goes. So we're all fighting this thing called time. Okay, so what is procrastination? That's why they say procrastination is the thief of time. And yet, time is the most valuable resource we have. And yet, it's the one we squander the most because, of course, we all think we're going to live forever. So far, that hasn't worked. Not one single time. Sorry. But anyway, so I really say that on purpose because, sometimes it's a cold water in the face going, what? Wait a minute. You're right now. I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't want to be right about that, but sorry, that is the way it is. Okay. So procrastination. Again, I'm just saying that's like the most common habit that people want my help with. All right. So, what is procrastination? Number one, and why do we do it? And number three, why doesn't willpower work? So, actually, let's start with willpower. Why does willpower not work to change a habit like procrastination? Okay. So, let's look at what willpower really is and why it's not very effective. So, I want you to imagine that you're in your kitchen right now. Okay. So, imagine you're in your kitchen and you're just kind of hanging out. And all of a sudden, somebody brings in a plate of chocolate chip cookies that they just cooked. All right. Or baked, I should say. They bake these chocolate chip cookies and they're on the pan. And you're like, oh, man. And you start breathing in that, that aroma smells so good. And your mouth starts watering like, oh, man, that looks good. Man, that smells really good. Right. Can you just picture it? And you can literally, your mouth starts to water. And then all of a sudden, the person there they say, now look, all right, I have to leave these cookies. I got to go out for a little bit. So I'm going to leave these cookies here. Now, don't eat a cookie. Whatever you do, do not eat a cookie because those are for later, and don't eat a cookie. All right. And they leave. Now, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to eat 12 cookies.
Yeah.
You're like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," you know, be like Cookie Monster. Right? You go nuts, right? That's what willpower is like. Willpower is like that. Willpower is you saying to you, hey, don't do that thing I want to do in the first place. Well, we humans don't like to deny ourselves of anything, right? We want that thing, we want it, right? And of course, it's so easy because right now we live in an instant gratification society. It's easy to get everything, right? Delivered to your doorstep in 3 hours or less, okay? So that's what willpower is like. It's a weak muscle. It's just not really going to work. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying it's like trying to lift a 200-pound weight with your pinky. It's just a weak muscle. It's not great. So what do we do instead? So this is what I help my clients with. Now, I don't have time to get into the full spectrum. So you can read my books or take my courses or coaching to get the full analysis. But very quickly and briefly, it's actually pretty simple. There's 5 elements of a habit. What is a habit? There's 5 elements: the cue, routine, reward, craving, belief. Now, very simply, the cue means the trigger. That's what happens in your life. The cue, then we have the routine. That means what you do. That means what the habit is. Then you have the reward. Now, so let's take the trigger, right? Let's take this trigger call or this habit called procrastination. What's the trigger? The trigger is you think about doing that thing you know you should have done in the first place. That's the trigger. Now, for some people, the trigger could be you wake up, right? I woke up in the morning. That's a trigger, right? So there's literally thousands of triggers. But let's just use this example. All right, I think about, you know what? I really should do that blog post. I really should hire that coach. I really should do that video. I really should take that course. I really should read that book. You see what I mean? And we all know what we should be doing, right? And why do we do it? Or why do we want to do it? Well, because I want to reach my goal. Notice it always comes back to your goal. I want that thing, right? So, okay, I should do that. But then you have a routine. What's the routine? I think I'll go watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Right?
Scroll your phone.
Right. I'll just doom scroll here for a while. Oh, this is fun. Right? And by the way, and this is a hugely important point, all those social media companies and media companies, their job is to addict your brain. That's their job. They have scientists and engineers working on this 24/7 to addict you. Because why? Any social media, it's free. It's a free. No, what's the harm? I'm not saying there's harm. I'm saying you're the product. If it's free, you're the product. And they want you addicted, addicted, addicted. Okay? So they do that. Why do you think they have these algorithms that show you what you want? Right? So there you go. So there's the cue. I should do this. I think I'll watch cat videos on YouTube. What's better than watching cat videos on YouTube? Right. Nothing. Nothing's better. Right. You can watch that for the next 10,000 lifetimes and never be done. All right. So cue, routine, then the reward. You're like, well, wait a minute. Reward? That doesn't make any sense. What reward am I getting? We're not talking about a financial reward. We're talking about the reward in your brain. So we're talking about the caveman brain in here, the cave woman brain, right? An ancient brain that's in here, way back here. I'm pointing to the back of my head. It's this little teeny thing back here, like a lizard, a crocodile brain, right? It's not very developed. What is that brain's job? That brain's job is to keep you not dead. That's its only job, right? What's a great way to keep you not dead? Don't go to something you're afraid of. Don't do that thing. If you're scared of it, don't do it. Because why? When we were cavemen and cavewomen, if you go towards something you're scared of, it could eat you. It's a saber-toothed tiger. It's a woolly mammoth. Oh my God, it's going to eat you. Okay, don't do it. Well, that's why we're still here. We survived, but there's not too many saber-toothed tigers running around right now. But we're still scared. And that lizard brain says, that caveman brain says, hey, don't do that thing you're scared of. And so your brain's saying, okay, you're not dead. You're welcome. Now, keep in mind, your caveman brain doesn't care if you're living on the side of the road. Doesn't care if you're living under a bridge. Doesn't care. It's like, hey, you're not dead. You're welcome. I'm doing my job. What's your problem?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I know it's so weird.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
so weird.
Like the realization, when business owners can realize, or actually just everyone, when you realize that your brain is wired for safety. And just to keep you alive, and it's not wired for growth. It's not wired for fulfilling your potential. Like your potential is actually very scary to it because it's new, it's uncomfortable. Right. It means that you're in a vulnerable position, because back in the caveman days, if you did anything to put yourself stand out essentially from the crowd, that was a very life or death situation. Right. And so your body is still wired to believe that. And we
Yeah.
have to like remind ourselves like, oh, I'm feeling genuinely scared and fearful and uncomfortable. And this is where I think a lot of specifically jewelry designers make this mistake, but a lot of people do, is they listen to their feelings and make business decisions based on their feelings, where it's
Right.
like, I'm very into listening to my feelings, but not all your
Mhm.
feelings are true. They're
That's right.
valid, but they're not true. It's like
That's
if you
right.
have this feeling like, oh, I need to do XYZ, I need to hire this coach, I need to hire this team member, I need to
Mhm.
reach out to stores and sell. It's like my body is telling me this is not safe, so I'm
That's
going to
right.
listen to my body. Well, you're never going to get very
That's right.
far.
Exactly.
So,
Your
yeah, it
because your body is gonna have
100%
that
makes
fight or
sense.
flight instinct. The body is
Yeah,
gonna hear fear, fear,
yeah,
because you're
yeah,
going towards the unknown.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's well, don't do anything you're afraid of. Uh,
yeah.
then you can't grow. You cannot do it. It is impossible.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm so glad we're talking about this because I think everyone needs this reminder. And it's like, oh, if you're feeling comfortable as an entrepreneur, it just means that you're not growing,
That's
and
right.
you have to kind of get used to that like embracing the fear and discomfort, and then slowly stacking evidence. And over time, it slowly fades, but you're still gonna have things that like trigger you and like make you uncomfortable if you're actually constantly pushing yourself outside your
That's right.
comfort zone. So I love this. It's the 5 points that you have
Mhm,
for identifying
mhm.
your. So it's the trigger, the cue,
The cue,
the
routine,
cue,
reward,
routine,
and then
reward,
craving and belief. So the
craving, and
craving,
belief.
what does the craving mean? A craving means your brain gets a craving for safety, which
Mm,
it of course is. It's like I don't want to die today, so don't go towards what scares you. Okay? But then you have the belief, and this is where it really becomes a problem, because you're saying to yourself, I can't do it. Ah, I'm too scared, it's just not meant to be. I don't have the time. You know what? I'm fine where I am. Okay. So you develop these beliefs, and you develop a belief that says, I'm a procrastinator. That's just who I am. Okay. Well, if that's who you are, great, but you don't have to accept that. So what I help my clients with is very simple. Look, the cue isn't going away. The cue is still going to be there. What do? We just change the routine. All right. So if you're scared, that's the thing you need to do. I'm scared to hire that coach. That's what you need to do. I'm scared to write that blog post. Do it. I'm scared to make that video. I'm scared to make that phone call. No kidding. That's the thing that's going to make you grow. So one of the
mm,
things that I, tell my clients all the time is, look, 8 out of 10 things that I've launched over the last 30 years have failed. I have launched hundreds of things. I mean, I've written so many books. I've launched all these courses. 8 out of 10 of them have failed, but out of 2 out of 10, I've done pretty well. You know what I'm saying? So what people are so scared of is, well, what if it doesn't work? If it doesn't work, then move on to the next thing, you know? And but what if this guy rejects me? They're gonna reject you. For every acceptance, I get 99 rejections still to this day. All right. So it's not like I don't get rejected. I get rejected all the time. Still today. I've been doing this for decades. You know what I'm saying? So I say
yeah,
that to my clients and to people to realize, because they're like, oh, what if it's gonna happen, and it's just, who cares? Who cares? The only thing that's for sure, that's absolutely certain, is if you keep doing the same thing, you'll keep getting the same result. So if you're happy with your results, by all means, keep doing what you're doing. If you're not happy with your results, then by definition, you have to try something else.
yeah, 100%. It's Yeah, it's so interesting how that like people can like on one level know this is what they need to
Right.
do, but
That's
then actually like starting to do that is so like a completely
scary.
different story. It's like, okay,
Scary.
I'm listening to this, I'm motivated, I'm gonna take action next time I feel that fear. And it's like it's hard to do it. And this is where I think
Yes.
community comes in. And you've probably seen this with your
Yes.
clients in the group coaching. Like I love groups and group coaching because I find it sometimes even more impactful than
Yes.
one-on-one, because you
Yes.
sometimes need that peer pressure and that community thing of we're all going to do the scary thing
Yes.
together,
Yes.
and look, we're okay. And that person, Sarah, has been doing this a
That's
little
right.
bit longer than me, and she took this scary plunge 3 months ago, and look, she's fine and she's thriving and she's doing good. And so
Right.
yeah, it's so fascinating. So yeah,
Yep.
Oh
Well, let
man,
me
I feel like I
actually, I
could.
got a great example for you. So,
Yeah.
one of my group coaching clients, her name's Tamisa, and she is a business owner out in Arizona. She's got a great personality. She's a lot of fun. And she was a self described seminar junkie. That's what she was. That's her words before she hired me. So, she was going to all these seminars. I'm sure some people can relate, seminars, running around guru after guru. And she was doing well in her business. She was doing six figures, but she couldn't break through that revenue ceiling. She just had a revenue ceiling that she couldn't break through no matter how many seminars she went to. So a friend
Mm.
referred her to me, and she joined my 12-week breakthrough program with the group coaching. And in 2 weeks, she tripled her investment. In the first 2 weeks of
Wow.
coaching with me, you can watch her video and many others on the website. She tripled in 2 weeks. Talk about an ROI, a return on investment. I mean, we hadn't even gotten to the money part yet, but it was
Yeah.
just me talking about, like I'm talking about now, and she just realized, wait a minute, I'm driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake. I don't need to do that anymore. Boom, tripled in 2 weeks. So think about, for everyone listening, what is holding you back right now, and how much longer are you going to take it? I say that to people all the time. How much longer are you going to take this? Why do you
Mm.
need to listen to that bully in your head? Because that's what it is. It's a bully. It's a bully in your head that is taking your lunch money every single day. Well, we don't need to listen to that bully anymore. It's a bully that says you're not good enough. It's a bully that says you can't do it. We want to punch that bully in the face. That's what we do with bullies. Bullies are not allowed in here, right? So don't take it from yourself. You're the bully bullying yourself. Don't
Okay.
do that. Don't allow that to happen anymore.
Oh my gosh, that's such a powerful way to wrap this up, Dr. Noah. I completely agree. We're so hard on ourselves, and we're definitely our biggest block. We don't have to worry about the other competitors and stuff. We're the ones holding ourselves back.
So true.
But this has been so powerful. I want to quickly run us through some rapid fire
Mm-hmm.
questions before we wrap up.
Sure.
What is one daily habit you'll never skip?
Getting enough sleep. I really, sleep is very important and very underrated. And yeah, I mean, I'm an early bird. I like to get up early, but I definitely need a lot of sleep, and I love my naps. So yeah, very important. Sleep, very important
Yeah, sleep is
and
game
underrated.
changing. Game changing. What is one belief you had to outgrow to reach success?
I can't do it. I mean, that's what I've been teaching for all these years, is I can't do it because. So don't listen to that bully in your head. I can't do it. Yes, I can. Of course you can. Now you might
Mm,
need a little help, a little accountability, a little, but really it's putting these systems in place, and then you let the systems do the work so you don't have to work so hard.
I love that. And what's lighting you up right now?
Oh, talking to you.
One
This
thing
is
you're
exciting.
working
I
on.
love this.
One thing you're working on.
Oh, one thing I'm working on. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I have so many things. My wife and I are actually coming out with a children's book soon, so that'll be out, our first children's book. So
Oh my
we're hoping to
goodness.
get that out for the holiday season. I'm excited about that. That's exciting, and just speaking with great people like you, and helping people all around the world. It's really an honor to do what I get to do every day.
I love that so much, Dr. Noah. And thank you so much for joining me. This has been so wonderful. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. And I know our listeners are going to be feeling super inspired and motivated and wanting to get their hands on your book and check out your coaching offers and all of that. So, where can our listeners find you, and how can they support you?
Oh, great. Well, my website is noahstjohn.com. That's my name, NOAHSTJOHN, just like it sounds, noahstjohn.com. We have tons of resources for you there, books, coaching, courses. And if you go to sendmeabooknoah.com, very easy to remember, sendmeabooknoah.com, I will send you a book. It's called Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money, How to Avoid the Three Big Money Mistakes Even Smart People Make. And by the way, the book is free. We just ask you to cover the shipping. We ship anywhere on planet Earth. All right, so US, Canada, wherever you are, we ship anywhere. And so the book, again, is called Get Rid of Your Head Trash About Money, How to Avoid the Three Big Money Mistakes Even Smart People Make. Send me a book, Noah.com. Oh, and by the way, if you do want to talk to me or one of my coaches about, our coaching programs or anything else, just go to breakthroughwithnoah.com. Also easy to remember. I'm known as the Breakthrough Coach. So breakthroughwithnoah.com. And just, we actually call it the revenue ceiling audit. We can see where that ceiling is on your revenue, like with the clients I mentioned here on this program and many, many others. But we can, number one, audit where you are and why you're holding yourself back, and then give you a 3-step plan to really get that really hockey stick growth that I talked about. So noahstjohn.com, send me a book, noah.com, and breakthroughwithnoah.com.
Amazing. We will link all those in the show notes so anyone listening can go click and get access to all those resources. But thank you again, Dr. Noah. This has been so, so wonderful. I
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate you joining me.
My pleasure.